Hi, Chris Duff over at Serious Land Capital Vacant Land Funding Partner. Um, Today was just reflecting on the new podcast that Pete Reese had put out yesterday, I think, Turning Profit. Pete is an excellent fixture within the land community, built up a thriving business really, really quickly. Marketing all over the place. Just hats off for building a again national business funder as well. And I noted that based on their experiences flipping infill lots, that the overall experience was bad enough for them that they are no longer investing in any infill lots or accepting funding requests for them. For more detail, check out the pod he put out with his daughter. So I thought that was pretty interesting overall. To summarize, he was just mentioning, it's just if you're in an area that you don't know intimately, just the chance of an untoward event happening, just something slipping past diligence and just reducing the exit value for the parcel, the risk was just too high. They had a few instances where they lost money on infill lots, and because you really don't have any backup solutions in place in terms of utility for infill lots outside of residential purposes, that it can really diminish the potential value when any of these possible issues surrounding buildability comes up. Very rational from that side, and unfortunate they got hit by a few negative circumstances. And it's something we go back and forth with too, the infill versus more rural lots. First off, the distinction is not as clear cut to me. Like I was just, before starting this podcast, I could go into, and that will be part of this podcast format, is like going through all of our various land investments, and just going over the story of them, what worked, what didn't. But I was just briefly reviewing, which ones are infill versus not. And to me, it's not black and white. Some are going to be very obvious infill lots. Usually it's like, sub half acre, there's, full utility setup, electricity, public water, sewer, like that's going to be much more obvious. But would you consider a subdivision that has pretty, cookie cutter 3 to 5 acre lots that require well and septic to be infill? That to me is a little unclear, depending what area of the country that you're in, where that definition starts to become a bit more gray. So to me, there's some of these lots that we've invested in that straddle the line a bit more compared to neatly fitting into one of those two definitions. So that to me is just kind of key to keep in mind in the first place here, and that we might not all be operating on the same definition when it comes to types of land parcels in the first place. But when I was looking over our results here, to a certain degree it is a mixed bag. I mean, some infill lots that we've done recently and over the years were the fastest sellers that we had in our portfolio, and like they were the easiest to comp. Really active market, just flew off the shelf for precisely the price that we were thinking. And we felt we did enough diligence to account for any extraneous risk factors that could have prevented buildability on some of these. And they worked out really well for us. On the flip side, some were not as advantageous for us. I know I remarked within the past few weeks, just reviewing our current active portfolio, but two of the properties within our portfolio that are struggling the most are both infill lots. One a lakefront property that again requires a well and a septic system. Again, our utilities, utility availability, always defining infill lots versus not. Again, it becomes a little bit more questionable, but it's planned subdivision. I would consider it an infill lot. And think it's roughly an acre in size. Let me double check that. Live on this review, where is this? Yeah, roughly an acre or so, requiring those, well septic system. But yeah, the market is totally dried up, and we're going to try to list it considerably lower. Luckily, we had a lot of margin to work with. Really, as soon as March hits, most areas of the country, as winter starts to end, tends to be the hottest time. You really want to strike when possible, when you can line up sales or line up acquisitions to hit that spring market in many areas of the country. And I know too, just around the country, it's been probably a more aggressive winter in terms of weather than we might have seen recently. I know, even as I'm taping this, like just multiple snowstorms all over the country, including places that don't routinely get it as much, around the Tennessee, Arkansas area and so forth. That's where one of our other infill lots is. And it's just, people aren't going to be out walking land parcels when it's, 30 degrees or below and snows on the ground and so forth. It's not as attractive as a prospect. I mean, even here in Texas, near Austin we've had some good weather here and there, but, for much of January plus, halfway through February, it's on average been a bit cooler, sometimes significantly cooler. So I think that's just been kind of the story of this winter season that can be affecting some of the ongoing demand anyway. So like I'm not that worried about it, and they're relatively lower capital investments. But yeah, at the moment, if I'm looking at active portfolio, it's 2 infill lots that are struggling more so than the other ones. And I'll definitely have to do a longer term story on one. But I mean, the absolute worst deal that we've ever been involved with was what appeared to be a trophy HOA lakefront lot in planned subdivision, and we lost significant money on that one. Again, by far our worst performing deal ever. So many lessons learned there that, if we're really solid business owners, we'll never make those mistakes again. Those scars are etched deep, but we made it out of it, survived. All this ongoing work is taking those lessons into place, and we've been having way better results lately. But yeah, that would be considered infill lot. It was not a good exit there, but again, I'll over a period of time, we'll be going over, our previous and existing portfolio, as well as deals that we had passed on or got close to purchasing and so forth, and labeling, infill or not, or, somewhere in between. But still, on average, I'm not dissuaded, even, having some bad luck on some that, and not even necessarily bad luck, but just flat out bad decision making. I had to take responsibility there. But also doing really well on some of these other infill lots. I'm really not as dissuaded there. So Pete runs his own business. Again, he does excellent work there. But in my opinion, just based on our own track record and our comfort level in terms of diligence process, I would still be open to funding and reviewing further infill lots, again based on past experience there. So just wanted to comment on that and provide a little bit more data on our side here. Hopefully this helps your land investing journey. Feel free to comment on this. Just where do you draw the line on what's an infill lot versus rural? I hadn't thought of it as in depth until this kind of came up, and again, there's just what I think would be a gray area. If anyone has a definitive definition, would love to hear it. But feel free to send all of those our way. Any land deals around the U.S., seriousland.capital, Land Daily Diligence Facebook group. Again, we're growing tremendously there. I was just posting a little bit more about it in Seth's already tipster group when people were asking for help on how we do diligence, and I explained our process in a bit more depth as well. If you want to check out that post earlier today, and landpricer.ai for the most simple and effective way to price land. Some of you will be hearing from me imminently about starting to test that. Hope you all enjoy the weekend. Bye.